Hey everyone, welcome to the Guiding You Forward podcast presented by Mountain America Credit Union. Today we're talking about finances, but also behavioral finances and how your behaviors affect your finances. And thankfully, Robert Steed is with us. Hi, Robert.
Hi, good to be here.
So, another piece that I've heard is that we're wired to default to feeling threatened and stressed in regards to money. Why? Why can't we just be happy all the time?
It would be nice. So researchers would say it's a preservation technique, right?
Okay.
We default, so our brain, as complicated as it is, it labels our experiences in only one of two ways: a reward or a threatening situation.
Okay.
And we can build on that reward based on context, and it just really make it feel like we need this.
I can rationalize any pair of shoes all day. Yeah.
The threat, though, is it comes a little bit more quickly. That is our default setting. And you can see evidence of this all around. This is why sales only last one day or one weekend only, right? It kicks in that fight or flight type response. And so we think, to preserve our financial goals, we have to make this decision now. It's okay if I go into a little bit of debt to do this. I'll pay it off now because I'm going to miss out on the deal. And so we get in these threatening situations, and it can be from something as simple as a deal, or it can be from economic pressure. Oh man, these people have a new toy. We've got to upgrade our vehicle to kind of fit in, or people go through a wide range. And it can be very powerful to experience this financial threat. And we often build on that. The tough part is that, again, because finances are so, I want to use the word ethereal, right?
Okay.
We're not even messing with tangible cash much anymore.
Yeah.
We tap a piece of plastic and it just says, you've got enough numbers over here to cover the numbers over here. Without that tangible thing to try and control, those threats can build and build and build, and we tend to get in those emotional situations and try and protect and control our situation. That's why people sell low in the stock market. Right? They don't want to see the virtual losses keep happening, and they're trying to control the situation. That's why people make emotional purchases, because they're trying to control the situation and get rid of that threat. They're fighting that. And so it can be tough. There's ways to deal with that, but that's kind of where we go with our reactions to money.
Interesting. So one thing, I'll share a personal experience with you here, which it happens to me all the time. Every time I go and buy something, not necessarily like everyday purchases like groceries or gasoline, right, to get from here to there. But for example, when I purchased my own first vehicle, right, I had my own first job. I was not living with my parents. I bought a car. It took me 6 months to find what I wanted. I had the worst buyer's remorse of all time. Why? It was a good thing. It was a great decision. Why is that there? Is that part of this? Was I not buying to my values?
Well, that's a good question. How deep do you want to dive into this experience?
I don't know. Okay. Let's not get too deep. We don't want to bore our audience here.
Well, I was going to say, in circumstances like that, usually there's something that was underlying. Like if you're feeling guilty for having made a good purchase, I would be really curious. I'll bet you could identify, if we were to go back and ask, we could probably identify some circumstances that led you to feel that way.
Okay, interesting.
Yep.
So basically what you're saying is we have these underlying reasons as to why we're feeling the way we do about finances.
So to build off your car example, and I don't know if this maybe plays into what when I started college, my dad had an extra vehicle. He was thinking, I can send this with my son. It was what we might how do I say it? It was a Buick.
Okay.
Can we say that?
A beautiful, brand new hip car for a college student.
Yes, typically driven by somebody with a different hair color than me. How about I put it that way, right?
Sure.
It's an older car usually. And I remember feeling, no, I can't drive around in this. And so went through a car buying experience as well, where I bought a different car that looked a little bit better, so I thought. I had buyer's remorse. Even though I thought it lined up with my values, after like a month or so, I was like, this is a worse car than what my dad was giving me. Why would I do that, right? And so now all of a sudden I experienced that remorse because I realized I got caught up in something that ultimately didn't align with my values. I was really concerned about image, and in the moment that seemed very important to me because I was just going to college and I thought that people would notice that, right?
Yeah.
Without any experience, I had made that. So there's always those underlying things, and I came to realize that I had done something contrary to really what I valued.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So that's why we experience that remorse. It's
Yep.
not really aligning with our truest, highest self we're all trying to become.
Yep.
Okay, interesting.